What's going on YouTube? Teejay here. Head along I-80 here, eastbound, headed just outside New York City here. I'm in Nebraska right now, driving along. I wanted to talk to you guys about something that kind of hit close to home. Happened to me 2 days ago. Really just something unexpected, and it's pretty sad. If you're a sensitive person, sensitive individual, and you don't like graphic details, or if you're an animal lover, you might not want to watch this video. It does have some pretty graphic details on something that occurred to me the other day. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, kind of like a disclaimer. With no further ado though, something really sad happened. I was driving along I-215. That's in, hang on guys here, sorry, I'm coming up to a scale. They want me to stop, that's what that beep means. If you have pre-pass, the beep, 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 beep means you gotta stop. Sometimes they give you slower beeps, that means you can pass through and you don't have to stop. But, anyway, driving along I-215 eastbound, and I was coming into the Salt Lake City, Utah terminal to get my windshield replaced. I had a crack, so I'm about 2.5 miles from the terminal, and I'm about to take the next exit, and we're cruising along highway speeds, 60, 62, somewhere around there, and I get a little bit closer to my exit, and I'm in the exit lane. It's a pretty long exit, so I had a bunch of room to slow down while I was in the exit only lane. So I gradually was slowing down. I noticed that the vehicles to my left were, the vehicles that were continuing through onto the interstate were also coming to a relative slow. So I slowed down just in case anybody wanted to cut in front of me. So I'm slowing down. I'm doing about 50, 52 maybe. And next thing you know, man, in the blink of an eye, there's nothing I could have done about it. This big, fully grown German Shepherd jumps out of the window of a vehicle to my left. He's in the back seat. He jumps out of the passenger side window and lands directly in front of me in my lane. Now, to my right was a cement barrier, and on the other side of that cement barrier was like a 50, 60 foot drop to some train tracks. So obviously it wasn't safe for me to swerve to the right. To my left were other vehicles. It wasn't safe for me to swerve to the left. Frankly, it wasn't safe to swerve at all. You run the risk of rolling over. It wasn't really safe to necessarily lock up the brakes, although there was nobody behind me, so it was relatively safe for me to hit the brakes hard. I did slightly lock up my brakes inadvertently. I mean, there wasn't really much I could have done. So I did come to a stop. I did hit the dog. I went underneath my truck. First thing I thought was, man, I just killed this dog. Nothing I could have done about it. Well, next thing you know, I come to a stop after, assessing what just happened, and the dog darts out. I'm like, wow, this dog just lived. Well, now he's in a real game of leapfrog, basically. I mean, this dog darted across all 8 lanes of highway traffic and then had nowhere else to go. So this dog jumped off the bridge. I kid you not. So guys, I'm gonna just pause this video here for a second. I gotta get through this scale house real quick. I'll be right back with you guys though, just a second, alright? Alrighty guys, sorry about that. I am back now. Got the green light. My weights are good. Anyway, going back. Dog jumped off the bridge, I kid you not. As sad as it was really a sight to see. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. So I'm like, wow, this dog is just not having a good day. So what happened is basically the dog owners, it was his boyfriend, girlfriend, and the dog. And then they had another vehicle that was slightly behind us that they were going to the same place that they were. They were together. So they stopped and, pulled in front of the vehicles, because we all pulled over. So, all three vehicles stopped. So what happened is the boyfriend went with the other car, the other lady that was driving the other car, went down underneath the bridge to go get the dog. Meanwhile, the girlfriend and I stayed up on the shoulder, and basically I had to wait a second. I needed to assess the truck. I needed to make sure my brakes were okay because I hit the brakes quite hard. So I needed to stop, inspect my brakes, let them cool down, check my air pressure, make sure I didn't blow any air hoses and whatnot. Meanwhile, she was making some phone calls. Now, if you work for Prime or if you work for any other company that may also do this, they have what's called a critical event. Basically, if I slam my brakes on really hard, if I almost roll the truck, or if it senses that there's a vehicle in front of me and I almost hit it, anything like that, they send what's called a critical event. It's a message or like an alert that goes to your dispatcher, and it tells them, hey, basically it shows them what happened. So I got one of those, naturally, because I hit the brakes pretty hard. And no sooner did that come through, I beat them to it. Normally they call you and ask you what happened and if you're all right. And I beat them to it because I didn't know what to do, frankly, either. I've never hit a dog on the interstate, so I called them first. And I told him, I said, you're not going to believe this. I hit a dog, the dog lived, and it ran and jumped off the bridge. The first thing he said is, do we need to drug test you? I said, no, but I'm at the Salt Lake Terminal. I'm just outside the Salt Lake Terminal if you want to. I have no problem, going to take a random, whatever. But honestly, he didn't really know. He's never been, had that situation arise, so he didn't really know what to tell me. What he said is, get a hold of safety. He gave me their number. He said, call safety, fill out an accident report, let them, decide what they want to do. I said, all right. So get off the phone with him. Meanwhile, I already got my triangles out. I'm basically trying to assess the situation, determine what I needed to do next. So no sooner did I step back out of the vehicle, sorry about that, the girlfriend was just absolutely hysterical. I mean, she was crying, ballistic. I mean, she was just, obviously she was heartbroken. So I'm trying to calm her down, making sure that she's safe to, be standing next to the car on the shoulder of the highway. So I positioned my truck to, to as safely as possible, I should say, kind of block all of us so that, if somebody were to come and hit us, they'd hit my truck first rather than us standing there or her vehicle. Just kind of like a safety precaution. Anyway, though, I'm trying to calm her down, and next thing I see is the boyfriend and the other driver come back up, and they park, in front of their vehicle, and he carries the dog out. I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to be graphic. I really just, I didn't really know what to expect. So I'm sitting there and I'm expecting the worst. Next thing I know is he carries the dog out, he goes to put it in his car. He asked me to open up the door. I open up the door, I look over, the dog picks his head up. The dog actually lived, unbelievably. I don't know ultimately if the dog survived in the end. I don't know. Hopefully he did, but it very well could have just been the shock and adrenaline, keeping him alive. He very well may have passed later on. But ultimately what that brings me to talk about is never get complacent. I don't want to say that I was complacent necessarily, but we're all human. We all tend to become complacent to an extent. no matter what you do, whether you drive a semi, you drive a school bus, you drive a taxi cab, or if you don't even drive at all, if you just, even if you're just walking down the highway, whatever you do, never get complacent, never just expect that nothing is going to happen. As much as I didn't see that coming, I was still looking, and I was able to react somewhat. I was able to react as safely as I possibly could, even though it may not have been the best result. I still reacted quick enough to ultimately possibly save that dog's life. There's so many different factors that you take in every day. Going out and starting your car and driving down the road, or starting your truck and leaving the truck stop. There's so many different things that can just pop up out of nowhere that you would have never expected coming up. So it really was an eye-opener to me. Actually, the very next day, I went and stopped and got a dash camera. It was something I was thinking about doing for a while. I got it though. That way, something in the future may happen, and I have camera footage that could even potentially save my job, save me from getting a ticket, save me from getting charged with something, because it's not always clear what happened. And ultimately, my dispatcher, my fleet manager, had no other information to look at besides basically what I told him. He had no camera footage. He had no witnesses that called in. I mean, there was nobody that could have confirmed what I said. He ultimately believed what I said, which, you never know. Prime has been nothing but good to me. I can't complain anything about how I've been treated. They've been ultimately probably the best company I've ever worked for. And for them to believe me, some other company may not have. Some other company may have just ultimately came out and said, you know what, we don't believe you, you're fired. Very easily could have happened. But Prime, they have big trust, integrity, honesty, belief, and they believed me. So I'm thankful for that. Even if I wanted to, I don't even think I could have made the story up. It was that unbelievable. Sad as it is, it's things that you will see though, and that's what I would like to accomplish by this video. Is I want you to understand, going down the road in everyday life, driving your car, driving whatever, you have the potential to see things that you may not normally see. If you didn't happen to be driving by. Now, being that the average truck driver puts on between 2,000 and 4,000 miles a week, we tend to see a lot more than the average motorist does. Your average motorist probably puts, 2,000 to 4,000 miles on in a 2 to 3 month period. We put that on in a week. We're driving, more than 4 times more than the average motorists out on the road. So we come across a lot more, just by the luck of the draw. So be prepared. I don't want to steer anyone away from trucking if you're interested in it. It is definitely a fun job. There's a lot to be learned. But there is a good possibility that you may see or encounter or even be involved in absolutely life-changing scenarios where, it may haunt you. I've seen quite a bit. I think I may have said on a previous video, I was on the fire department for a couple of years. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of gruesome things, a lot of heartbreaking things, a lot of death, a lot of mangled body parts, just things that some people may like to talk about. I personally, having experienced it firsthand, I don't like to talk about in detail. It's kind of a sensitive subject. There's a lot of things that even I haven't seen before that I have seen trucking while, being a firefighter for, I think it was 3.5 years. I didn't see half of, the crazy things I've seen out on the road. So you may have a day once in a great while where it's just absolutely heartbreaking. You may God forbid, you may be involved in a fatal accident. It's really nothing to mess with out here. You're driving vehicles that are larger than almost any other vehicle out on the roadway. You're considered a professional driver. People look up to you. You may not realize it. I didn't realize it much until I started driving truck. But people look up to you for the most part. There are some people that just absolutely hate truck drivers for whatever reason. And that's fine. Whatever, to each his own. But ultimately when weather conditions get extreme and travel conditions are unsafe and people don't know what to do and they start panicking, one of the first things that a lot of people do is they find a truck driver and they follow the truck driver because they know the truck driver has been properly trained to handle a lot of these situations. They know that truck drivers are some of the safest drivers out on the road, and ultimately they feel a lot safer following a truck driver. Now if you're a regular motorist, I don't recommend riding next to a truck for extended periods of time for various reasons. But I have no issue with people following behind me. If it's unsafe to, the road conditions are not safe and we're just trying to find a place to pull over, chances are I might know of a place to pull over that you may be unfamiliar with, and it might be easier for you to find a place to park and wait it out. But anyway, going back to my point of things is you really never want to become complacent. This is truly a profession where you have a lot of lives at stake. Very easily, if I'm texting and driving, or if I'm not paying attention, if I'm aggressively driving, very easily I could take somebody's life in just an instant. It is so easy for me to just veer over and run someone off the road, or veer over and someone go underneath my trailer, God forbid, and lose their life. It is such an easy occurrence. And you may never think it'll happen, but I'm here to tell you it happens. I've seen it firsthand. Luckily, I've never been a part of it, thank God. But I have seen it firsthand where people have lost their lives in an instant, just because of pure carelessness or pure disregard for paying attention on the road. You don't want to fall into that category of people that they don't pay attention. So ultimately, be safe. I don't know any further on the dog. I'm sorry, I wish I did. I did call some local vets, like veterinary hospitals, after I stopped to see if they've had a German Shepherd come in. None of them heard anything on it, so more than likely the dog's owners took him to their own vet and probably just made like an emergency appointment with them. So if I hear anything, I doubt I will, but if I hear anything, I'll be sure to update you guys. But honestly, just be safe out there, guys. Expect the unexpected. Just never think that everything's going to go as you plan, because just in the blink of an eye, it can all change for the worse. So guys, be safe out there. Have fun. Enjoy the country. Man, there's a lot of stuff out here you're going to see. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of heartbreaking things, a lot of sad, a lot of scary things. Just enjoy it, though. Make the best of it. Think positive, guys. Be safe. I'll see you guys around. Keep on trucking. Man, keep them up. Keep them upright. Have a good